Make better money choices. Choose a bank that takes your money seriously. Business Watch is brought to you by Nedbank.
Right, it's good afternoon, a very good afternoon to you. It's 2 p.m. Central African time. A very good afternoon once again. We welcome to Business Watch. Very excited to be with my co-host Lungelele to give you the latest, on what is happening really as we track the most significant business developments impacting our lives today. What we want to do today is maybe focus on essential part of Eswatini's economy, which is the handicraft sector. According to a recent survey by ESAPAC and the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade, only 26% of our handicraft producers are exporting their products, while a whopping 74% are not. The sector, largely driven by our talented female artisans, is crucial for creating jobs, generating income, as well as reducing poverty. Yet, it faces numerous challenges and holds tremendous untapped potential. Now, to unpack this further, our economist Sanele Sbia will join us virtually, where we want to explore the opportunities as well as look into some of the barriers within the handicraft industry and discuss what can be done to propel this sector forward. So stay with us as we look into that development and many others.
Yeah, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us. You can watch us on YouTube. We're available on our YouTube page, Eswatini TV. Quite exciting news for our Nedbank clients this afternoon. Buying a home is a lifetime investment and it should remain a priority, especially if you are renting residential premises. Nedbank Eswatini will ensure that you purchase the home of your dreams, which will be the biggest asset you'll ever own. Nedbank offers flexible home loans that can adapt to these changes. Team leader sales Bagcinile Similane comes back again this week to share with us the benefits of the home loan, the types of properties financed under the home loan, examples of properties, and security requirements. And on our last segment, Nedbank's Treasury dealer Zibusiso Dembe joins us for an update of today's financial markets. For now, let's go to business news. Welcome back. This is Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go for business news.
All right, the Eswatini Bankers Association has stated that they will comply with the Eswatini Revenue Service Income Tax Order Amendment Act of 2023. This has been said by the Chief Executive Officer Zakhele Lukele during an interview on this next tax law.
In terms of complying with the law, the Bankers Association, in this case all the banks which are members of the association, are expected to comply with the law as it stands. The law stipulates that we should deduct 10% on interest that is earned on the investment accounts. So in terms of what is required of us is to deduct and then remit to the ERS, and then they will expect those payments. I think it's on the 15th of every month, according to what I have learned. The deductions will be made on accounts that are deemed to be investment accounts, and those accounts are clearly defined in the Act. I think they include fixed deposits, call accounts, permanent shares, dividends, and such. That means it excludes those ordinary savings accounts which are used for transaction purposes. We normally call them transactor accounts. I cannot define properly for each bank because each and every bank has its own product names and how they use the accounts. Those accounts are where you keep your your money is for paying electricity, water, and such things, and they are normally the everyday accounts that you use for transacting. But on the investment account side, I think that's why we're expected to comply with the law in terms of deduction. I think it would be important to also familiarize oneself with the law in terms of which accounts are exempted. It's very important that we all familiarize ourselves with which accounts are taxable, and people should always ask the banks which accounts are taxable and which are the transactor accounts, because these products differ from bank to bank in terms of the branding and the titles that we use for those accounts. So it's important that people make sure that they know which accounts are taxable and which ones are investment accounts.
And for international story, with the Olympics just around the corner, hotels in Paris are facing a decline in occupancy rates as worries over price hikes and restrictions keep many tourists away.
What was set to be a record-breaking summer for tourism in Paris has left parts of the industry disappointed. For this hotel in Montmartre, business has been nothing like previous years.
Normally at this time of year, every room is occupied, but today the first floor is effectively all closed off because there's no demand.
The hotel is only half full compared to an 80% occupancy rate in previous summers. Even promotions are not alluring guests.
I think the effect of the Olympics has been counterproductive. Everything's very expensive. The traffic restrictions, the tripling of the metro fares and the tourist tax. These things, added to the bad weather, mean people aren't coming.
The story is similar across Paris. In June of last year, occupancy rates were at 90.3%. It's fallen to 78.8% the same month this year. This trend could increase as more neighbourhoods become inaccessible due to the Games. Some are dreading the next few weeks.
As preparation progresses, it becomes more complicated to reach places. You can see that with tour buses. Our clients are on such a strict schedule, the disruption can stop people coming to sites in the heart of Paris.
But the build-up to the Olympics is exciting for some visitors.
I didn't even know the Olympics was going to be in France. So it's just such a coincidence, like a crazy coincidence that the Olympics is here and then I get to see the preparations of it. Like I always see it on TV.
Hotel owners are counting on this enthusiasm in the months to come.
All right, we'll go for a quick ad break. When we return, the Eswatini Bankers Association has stated that they will comply with the Eswatini Service Income Tax Order. I want to get into more of those developments after the break.
Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 76222000 or dial *007 *3 *7#, or you can use Eswatini Imali. And And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewers TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for tuning in, and welcome to those who've just joined us on this program today.
All right, now moving on to our next segment, we want to get into this development where the business community has welcomed the income tax order amendments of 2023. The Chief Executive Officer of Business Eswatini, Inati Dlamini, has explained in detail how the amendments will affect businesses.
What are some of the fundamental changes that come with this act, and how will they help the business community?
We're thankful that personal income tax has not been touched, and that's what we've been advocating for as Business Eswatini. It hasn't been touched, so we say thank you for that. Also, we acknowledge the nominal decrease in corporate tax. It's not much. It's quite nominal, but we're thankful for even the small things that have happened. We think a 2.5% savings on companies will ensure that businesses now are able to invest back into their businesses and to retool their businesses and expand, and hopefully in the process create the much needed employment which this country desperately needs, especially given the youth unemployment situation we're facing here.
How important was it, CEO, for the Eswatini Revenue Service to come up with the presumptive tax, especially for the small and medium enterprises?
The presumptive tax now of 500,000, we had asked for at least 2 million, but we failed, and it's 500,000. But I think it's a step in the right direction, that just the huge administrative burden on small businesses will be attenuated, and if not completely removed now. I think it is something that you just do a turnover and you are tax a nominal tax on that. We will be advocating next year that perhaps the minister considers raising it at least to 1 million. I think in order, given the situation of inflation, loss of value of money, time value of money, etc., that he may raise it to 1 million, hopefully next year. But we are thankful on behalf of small businesses of this country, and also raising the threshold for VATable businesses to 900,000. When you say thanks for that, that in itself also removes the administrative burdens which small companies have had to endure for quite some time.
The Eswatini Revenue Service has over time emphasized the importance of paying tax. What can you say about transfer pricing? How does it hurt the economy? Because we know that there are some people who have companies outside the country who evade tax.
We do not advocate for transfer pricing that has occurred in this country, because we think it deprives this country of value, and it's something as Business Eswatini we've always stood against, because it doesn't create value in this country. In fact, we as Business Eswatini, and it begins with us in this secretary, it begins with me, matters of tax compliance we take them very, very seriously. Any member who comes in here, we always insist to see a certificate of tax compliance. We're big on that. We believe everybody should carry their fair share of tax equally, so that I know some people, fancy accountants, are able to avoid it, but that's legal. But the tax evasion is illegal. And I would encourage anyone who's within earshot of my voice or who's watching that times have changed. All of us must pay our fair share of tax equally, if we are to see, if only in the interest of fairness. We are coordinating our efforts in this regard with the IRS. We work closely with them to ensure that everybody complies, and that relationship, I think, has been good for the business sector. And we also thank them for acknowledging some of these good taxpayers, as exemplified last week by this Tax Appreciation Week in which we were involved. Taxpayers who comply, that means they pay their tax on time, all the time.
I want you, CEO, to explain in detail what transfer pricing is.
First of all, transfer pricing is not something that we encourage to do. Unfortunately, in most countries, companies with fancy accountants, we have found that now they do engage in this, what I would arguably call a malpractice. It doesn't mean because you have a fancy accountant you should engage in this, because one, transfer pricing doesn't create value in the country in which profits were made, but in another country, and I think that's totally unfair for entities, if any. In fact, none of our members do that I'm sure, to inflate their cross-border expenses in a a veiled attempt to evade tax, because this is not only a tax avoidance strategy, it's a tax evasion, and we think that's illegal. And yet we need all the value to stay in this country, given the needs of this country, which keep on growing each and every day. We've got scholarships to pay, elderly grants, infrastructure to build, and all the money that. So we need all the resources we can get. That's why I'm saying all value created here should be taxed here in full, and people can repatriate profits. That the law is clear on how to repatriate profits, but it doesn't talk about repatriating profits via an illegal scheme such as transfer pricing.
As a parting shot, CEO, maybe you can advise companies on the importance of paying tax. How does it help if most of our companies here in the country are paying tax?
I would like to say everybody around the world, by the way, there's no country in the world where there are no taxes. We all pay tax begrudgingly. It's like paying for insurance. We pay it begrudgingly for an event. Hopefully that usually doesn't happen, but we don't pay. Same thing with tax. I cannot say that every month I'm looking forward to paying my tax. I'm looking forward to getting my paycheck, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, paying tax is the right thing to do. Every country pays tax, and I would encourage all taxpayers to comply, if only in the interest of fairness.
All right, that was our in-house business journalist, Nelson Langamandla, sitting down with the Business Eswatini Inati Dlamini. Speaking on the new amendment tax, it is the topical conversation. We broke it yesterday here on Eswatini TV, caused some stir on social media, and it's a developing story, and we continue to give you developments around it.
Yeah, stay with us. After the break, I have a discussion with a team leader sales at Nedbank Eswatini, Bagcinile Simelane, on home loans. All right, welcome back. This is Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for staying with us. As mentioned earlier, Namhla, we're focusing on the home loan. Last week, a current account with Bagcinile Simelane. She joins us again, who is the team leader at Nedbank Eswatini. I want to talk more about a home loan. What is a home loan? Benefita Bobani. Good afternoon and welcome again.
Thank you so much, Lulu, for having me again.
Yeah.
Okay, basically a home loan is a facility that we give our clients to cover either construction or to just buy already developed structure for either for residential property.
Yeah. So why should your clients apply for a home loan? What is so unique about Nedbank's home loan?
Okay, a home loan is an asset that is honestly worth having because then you're able to establish a home early for yourself and your family or future family. So it's one of those assets that I feel like are overlooked, especially by young professionals. We tend to focus on other things, whereas when you get the home loan early, then you are able to pay and finish earlier, and you're able to enjoy living in a home that you're not paying rent for because you've already finished paying for that loan. So the good thing about the Nedbank home loan is that we're able to assist our clients to get home loans in terms of helping you develop a structure if you want to construct, and also if you already have noticed that there's certain residential property that you want to buy, which is already fully developed, we're also able to finance you. But the financing has terms and conditions, of course. It depends on how much that you can afford, and then we're able to finance you on that much money.
Yeah, I know that I'm quite familiar with personal loan. We're quite familiar with personal loans, but how is it different from a home loan in terms of repayment agreements? What is the difference?
Okay, with the personal loan, it has a shorter repayment period. Our personal loans at Nedbank have a maximum repayment period of 60 months, which is essentially 5 years. And then for the home loans, we have repayment period to the maximum of 20 years, which is 240 months. So basically the difference is within the repayment periods. The home loans are longer repayment period considering the amount, because financing property usually is charges more. Basically, it has more. The value is more than that of personal loans, if I can put it like that.
Yeah.
And also with the personal loan, it's not secured, meaning the only security that we have as a bank is that you are actually earning money through your payslip on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Whereas with the home loan, it's secured because there's an asset attached to this facility, of which then the pricing also there is influence because the pricing would be lower since it's more low risk, as there is an asset that is actually attached to this facility.
Okay. I'm quite curious, majority of the Maswati have or rather own land under Swazi Nation land nowadays. So are they eligible to apply for a home loan?
Yes, we do have a facility for land that is on Swazi National land. It's called a rural home loan. So with that one, you are able to apply for funds that will help you develop on that Swazi National land. But this facility is applicable to certain organizations, and I would just say it's actually specific to certain organizations because we have schema arrangements with these organizations, and then it's also readily available to all civil servants throughout.
Okay, so what are the types of properties financed under the home loan?
Okay, we can finance vacant land. We can finance an already developed structure. We can also finance not commercial property, I'll say, but flats, basically like your duplexes or just one-bedroom apartments that you want to secure and collect rental income. We're able to also finance that.
Yeah, I suppose the salary I get determines how much money, how much loan I will receive from the bank.
Yeah, most
How
definitely.
do you calculate that?
Okay, we have a certain tool that assists us to calculate how much you are eligible for when you're applying for a home loan. So it's an affordability tool that we consider your gross salary, and we need to ensure that all the loans that you have do not exceed 33% of your gross salary. So you need to ensure that you prioritize the home loan, because the biggest mistake also is that you find that clients have already committed themselves elsewhere, and then the home loan idea comes after, of which now when they try to getting finance from a bank to purchase a home, you find that they're now not able to afford, because they now have these certain obligations that have committed themselves elsewhere. So we do advise that think of the home early, so that you are able to secure it, and then if there's other emergencies or other needs that come after, then you can take the personal loan instead of doing it vice versa, because then you find that a lot of Eswatini are unable to afford the home loan because they already have prior commitments. Yeah.
So, some people buy houses just to renovate them and then resell.
Yeah.
Are those eligible to apply for a home loan just for renovations?
Yes,
By toll?
they are eligible,
Okay.
because what we do as a bank is to ensure that we are able to assist you to develop that structure or renovate that structure in accordance to how much you can afford. So if your intention is to buy, renovate, and then resell, we are able to assist you.
Yeah, I know the bank is particular when it comes to security. What does the bank offer in terms of insurance? Because niyangniketa loan, so you need to be sure ukuthi ngiyabhadala le mali. What are the terms and conditions?
Okay, we have insurance cover for, it's called the house owners insurance cover. That's basically, it's comprehensive cover that assists in case of damages that can happen onto the house. If your house in any way is damaged either by a natural disaster, or there's certain damages that have been affected on the house, you are able to have the homeowner's insurance that covers that, so that they can repair the house here and there. Because we need to make sure that as a bank, the home that we have bought for you is always in a good state. And then also we have the life cover. Basically, the life cover that we have one that is sold by Nedbank, but you also have the option of presenting your own life cover that you already have elsewhere. Then you can cede that to the bank, of which will cover the bank's interest.
So I need to, basically, I'm paying for three. It's the home loans, the homeowners insurance, and the life cover.
I wouldn't say paying for three per se, because with the house owners insurance, you pay it yearly. So I mean, yes, you pay it yearly, so it's not like you're paying it on a monthly basis.
So is there a discount if I open these three within Nedbank?
Yes, definitely you get favorable rates if you use an insurer that has an arrangement with Nedbank. So you're able to then get favorable rates there. Also with the life cover or the credit life, that one is also charged on a yearly basis. So we always do encourage that clients should have their own life policy that they can see to the bank, because that solution is more cost efficient. The credit life, we also try to ensure that we don't find our clients concerned like you're concerned that I'm paying for three things. So that one we charge it on a yearly basis, but it's charged basically on the balance of the loan on every year, meaning as the balance of the loan goes down, the credit life cover of the facility also, the premium that you're paying yearly also reduces.
So they're both compulsory?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about the life cover, credit life. What happens in a situation where I pass on, I die?
Okay, when you pass on, what happens is that the bank is entitled to a claim over your life policy that you've ceded to the bank, or over the credit life that you have with the bank, of which basically that amount pays off the loan. And then in that sense, there's no interference now with your savings, your savings that have accumulated on pension funds or provident funds and so forth, because we try to avoid that. When you pass on, now the bank either has to repossess or has to take funds from those savings that can actually help your family when you are no longer around. Also, the credit life also covers for permanent disability as well. So if you're permanently disabled, then we're also able to claim, and then the house is paid, the home is paid off, and yeah, you're able to continue.
Okay, so how long do I need to be with Nedbank to qualify for the home loan?
Basically, as long as you can prove to Nedbank that you're permanently employed, and you have those number of years left until you are pensioned to afford the home loan facility, then we're able to assist you. Yeah.
Oh, great, that's awesome. So, do you give the home loan to a group of team members, colleagues, perhaps by 5, but for the home loan they want to build flats? What are the terms and conditions? Do you offer such a service at Nedbank?
Okay, with that service, basically what happens is that each and every person who's interested in taking up that facility has to apply for a home loan that will be able to actually cover the repayment that will be basically on the facility. So each of y'all I wouldn't say we necessarily finance you as a whole, but when you all now have those guarantees that I will be able to be financed by this banking institution to buy this property, then you're able to all pull in together those funds to buy that plot. Also, you need to make sure that you also cover the cost of dividing that plot, because there are also costs that come part and parcel with that.
Just one last question before I let you go. For entrepreneurs, I will assume part of the documents for now a pay slip, bank statement, nani. For a business person, they pay slip. So, do they qualify for applying for a home loan?
Okay, with business people, they need to firstly open a business account with our SME department, and then they need to trade for a certain period for them to actually eventually be able to produce financials to the bank. The financials then are able to determine the financial stability of that company, because we need to make sure that that company has continuity throughout the repayment period. The maximum repayment period for business mortgages is usually 10 years. So we need to ensure that you've actually accumulated, or basically you've operated to a point where the business is financially stable and liquid, so that they're able to cover the repayment period over the 10 years.
Yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Bakli. And that's it for our segment with Nedbank. If you have more questions, do visit one of their branches, but banking a home loan. Let's take a break. Stop here.
Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
welcome back to the program. We get into a very different segment now where we're going to be speaking to our economist, Sanele Eswatini, regarding this development. Only 26% of local handicrafters are able to export their products internationally. Now, this is contained in a report by the Eswatini Economic Policy Analysis and Research Center, popularly known as ESAPAC, where they were researching how these businesses are trading locally as well as internationally. All right, Mr. Eswatini, a very good afternoon to you. And, it's very interesting when we look at such statistics because a whooping 20% is very staggering. 26%, it's very, very small if you think about it. If you could tell me, what are some of the main, or rather the main challenges or barriers that exporters face?
Good evening, good afternoon, Mr. Ngumalo, and good afternoon to the viewer at home. So what we are seeing in this is it's a very old story. It's not a new story. It's something that we have seen happening all throughout. So what we are seeing is, the handicraft sector still continues to really struggle to find markets internationally and to actually find the footing in international markets. And one of those things that one would look into would be, issues of the scale of production. That's what we would call the economies of scale in terms of how much do the entrepreneurs who are engaging in that sector actually have to trade with in the global economy. And if we look also at the diversification of our economy, and the diversification of our exports and trading routes. But when the issue of exports, when it comes to Eswatini, one thing we've learned is even with an export guarantee scheme, you find that it's only a handful of exporters that are able to get access to literally exporting to the international markets and to the global north. So that's not just a challenge that is inherent within the handicraft sector, but what the sector really lacks is that issue of the scale of production. There are also issues of logistics if you really want to export to markets across, and also the issue of financing in terms of how does one finance their business. And another challenge that we are seeing with this sector, Mr. Ngumalo, is the fact that climate change is real and climate change has actually hit them hard. If you look at, for example, growing up, we used to see Ingoboza what's this one? Lutsandi or something like that. But right now you barely ever see those. So also there's an issue with the inputs side of that market. So that means we need also to make sure that we are invested in the environmental protection and so that we keep this industry afloat, Mr. Nguman.
I don't know how to feel when you put it, candidly, that this is not a new statistic because, one may say, well, we shouldn't be shocked that this is the statistic because it is not new, but it should have changed by now, and we always talk about trade being the lifeblood of any economy. And you do allude to trade finance. Perhaps we do want to appreciate that strides are being made in that particular regard. We did see a workshop just a few months ago where traders were being capacitated on trade finance. In fact, they were negotiating with financial institutions. Let's talk about the economic impact. Maybe you could elaborate on the contribution of the handicraft sector to the Eswatini's economy.
The handicraft sector, if we look at, back in the days when we had your fair trade initiatives and we had your, Gondral was also part of that fair trade initiative. So back in the day, we really saw some market impacts in terms of, the contribution to GDP. It might not have been at as much, but, at that micro level, we do have people who then get incomes. We do have households that then survive on the incomes that they are getting from engaging in this in this endeavor. And we also get when the product grows big enough, you do also get to have other people participating within that supply chain, and there is a bit of that employment creation. But one of the things that we see when we are looking at the statistics that are coming out and looking at how much handicraft traders are actually making, one realizes that it is not much necessarily to ensure that they're able to sustain themselves at least for an entire month. I think that's one of the things that the report is bringing. So in as much as in terms of, keeping people busy, it does. But in terms of really how is it really contributing to the economy, you find that that tends to work only for the bigger ones that are able to export. But it does in a way provide livelihood opportunities for Emaswati, and it also provides Emaswati with the much needed income to supplement their incomes all throughout. So what one would then start to advocate for is probably, let's think of value chains. When we are thinking of value chains, let's ensure that we are able to incorporate our handicraft traders all throughout the value chain, and we also allow them to take up initiatives such as, we know there is the Commerce Trade Hub, there is quite a number of international trade facilities that are geared towards supporting small traders, more especially within the handicraft sector. So that also requires a bit of marketing on our side as a country, because most of our handicrafts, what one would classify as decorative and mostly inclined towards our culture. So if we're able to market Eswatini and such that people would want to have some memorabilia from Eswatini, then we would see that that type of influx, the type of surge in terms of the scale of production and what our handicraft traders are actually selling into the international market. And also we also need to make sure that we integrate Emaswati into the the marketing and the tourism drive, so that they are able to make sure that they are trading perpetually and not just virtually. But in terms of the economic impact, at a micro level, it is quite marked, because people are able to feed their families, Mr. Nxumalo. People are able to do the least that they can. But the statistics certainly will show you that most of the traders, most of them are earning between less than 10,000. I think over 80% of them, if you look at the report, over 80% of them would actually be earning around less than 10,000 a month. So that's quite, but it is quite something that we can build on in a country. But in terms of providing livelihoods and sustainable livelihoods and to our people, so there is that it's the contribution is there, but we would want to have such we would want to amplify it, so that people don't look at it as one of those things they do when they are not necessarily doing any other thing. So we do need to make sure that as a country we are investing quite a lot in boosting our handicraft traders, and more so because this is what one would call a low entry. It's a low entry business, it's a low cost entry business, and if you look at the report again, it will tell you that most of the people who are engaging in that trade have actually started from nothing. They are self-financing. So if we increased access to finance, that means there is potential that one could reap from there as an economy. So we stand to benefit a lot as an economy if we choose to invest within that as well.
Again, I do see that trade finance is recurring. There's an urgent need of some of the things that need to be, looked into urgently. But also pricing as well as logistics, Mr. Sibia. But maybe before we get into that, we don't have much time left, but I want us to get into the gender dynamics. I'm looking at the survey here, and it is showing that the handicraft sector is predominantly female. I mean, it's put out there, with women accounting for 86% of artisans. How does this gender distribution impact the sector? And maybe what specific support do female artisans need? Just briefly.
So when you look at that, what happens there is that is something we call, a basic extension of one's gender role. So kulevele emacansi akhiwa bomake and all of these other things. So these are things that women are able to do within the household, and these are things that are right there traditionally, to help women meet what we would call their gender needs, in terms of being able to create such and make such. So what we would want then for government to do, and what we would then hope to do, is this could be used as a conduit for women empowerment and, in an attempt to attain gender equity in the country. So what we would then do in that case is, let's make those strategic investments to support women to take it up as a business, not just as a survivalist type of endeavor, where we group women together. We saw this with Eswatini Secrets when it came out. So we saw women and, the formalization of the entire Bukano type of ceremony, ceremony into a marketable, into a market-based commodity. And that commodity actually, I think, is amongst the top 5, if not top 10 exporters in the country. So what we need to do again is the type of thinking where we are saying, okay, this is a sector where we have women. How can we then ensure that this sector grows and takes women with them? It doesn't leave them behind when there is money all of a sudden, because, experience and literature tells us that, once there is money, you'll find Ngumalo now doing it, So we need to make sure that we support that sector and we find catalytic ways to make it a much bigger industry, and it supports women. We can start by looking at grouping them depending on the natural resource endowment in that area, and then we support them, give them the right skills that they need and the right technical know-how, give them the logistical support, and give them the support they need to actually get to a level where they do export. But yes, sadly, it is one of those industries that are dominated by women, mostly because what happens within the sector is basically an extension of of gender roles, of the women's gender role in society, Mr. Nzuman.
Mr. Sibia, for just making sure that we support women, that you amplify the fact that we support women. Men shouldn't be threatened by this at all. There are those industries where we see predominantly, being spearheaded or steered by men. This one is spearheaded and steered by women, and indeed, let's support them. Vugani Bomage Project, you've mentioned another one is there with Eswatini Secrets. Let's go for a net break. Lungalele sits down with Nozibu Siso Dembe, Nedbank's treasury dealer, to look at today's financial rate.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash, or you can use Eswatini Imali. You can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewer's TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
All right, welcome back. It's 10 minutes before 3 o'clock. You're still watching Nedbank Business Watch. This is our last segment for today's program. We are joined by Nozi Busiso Demos, a treasury dealer at Nedbank Eswatini. She wants to give us an update of today's financial markets. Good afternoon, Nozi. Welcome back.
Afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, all right. So, President Ramaphosa announced his cabinet on Sunday. So, how's the rand performing? Are there any changes? Any reactions to the announcement?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week, Lulu. since the announcement of the cabinet on Sunday, we've seen a lot of volatility in the rand. Initially, the rand strengthened. So after the cabinet was announced, there was a positive reaction in the market. The market was happy about the involvement of the DA in key positions because the DA is seen as a pro-business party. Okay. So there was happiness around there. The market also welcomed the involvement of the DA's leader, John Steenhuisen, to become the Minister of Agriculture. The market was happy about the fact that the Minister of Finance, Enoch Kotongwana, was remaining to be Minister of Finance for another term. So there was all-round positive reaction, but it was very short-lived. Soon after that, we saw the rand lose quite a lot of strength. And I think it's as the reality started to set in, the market started to have caution around how will this new government of national unity manage economic reform, how will it affect the budget, the national budget going forward, and a couple of other things, the fragility of the agreement that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. So the rand has really, really weakened because of that, and we're seeing it in the numbers as we speak now. Currently, the US dollar against the EZL is trading at 18.4806. The euro against the EZL is trading at 19.8719, and the pound against the EZL is trading at 23.4725. But this afternoon, we did see the rand gain a bit of strength against major currencies because the ministers are being sworn in today, so we're seeing that, and it's going to be interesting seeing the effects of the GNU going forward as things start to set in.
So there's going to be changes the whole week.
We expect
today's a swearing-in ceremony.
Yes, we expect that there'll be changes the whole week, maybe even next week, because this is a really interesting time to be alive, and no one knows what to expect.
Yeah, interesting time to be alive. All right. So moving on to commodities, I see gold is doing quite well this afternoon. And has there been any movement with regards to Brent crude oil?
Yes, so right now gold is trading at $2,314.5 per ounce, and there has been an uptick in the price of gold as the market awaits outcomes of the meeting minutes of the Fed's last policy meeting. Yesterday, in a speech, the U.S. Fed chair, Jerome Powell, indicated that the U.S. is now on a deflationary path. But they're expecting, or they're waiting for more data to indicate whether they can start decreasing interest rates or not. So the market is now expecting that, and as interest rates start to decrease, investors gravitate to investing in gold, and hence ticking up the price of gold. So it has been, the price of gold has been increasing. The price of Brent crude, currently at 85.40 per barrel, has remained pretty steady, with a slight increase due to a hurricane that was expected to affect the Gulf of Mexico and disrupt supply from there. And also there have been larger than expected draws in U.S. Brent crude stocks, stockpiles. So we've seen the price increase ever so slightly though.
Yeah, okay, quite interesting. So moving on to equities, how are American companies performing? Noted that tomorrow is a holiday, 4th of July. Is there going to be any activity or any data?
So we're not expecting any data tomorrow because it's a holiday, but U.S. companies are doing very well. As you can see with the numbers for the S&P 500, yesterday it reached the all-time high, breaking the 5,500 point, which was primarily driven by good performance in Tesla, and as well as the expectation or the market hopes that interest rates will start to decrease soon.
All right, so you spoke of interest rates in the US. How is that going to affect the market?
So as interest rates start to decrease, most of the time the US dollar will lose strength, and then investors then prefer to move their funds to stocks, to the equities, or to gold, as you can see with the gold price.
All right, thank you so much, Nozi, for that update this afternoon. Let's go for an ad break. When you come back, we'll wrap up the show with Sfiso.
Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
All right, it's 3 minutes before 3 o'clock. We've come to the end of our program today. Quite interesting topic today, home loans, Fiso. Yeah. Home loans, personal loans. We had quite a conversation with Bagcinile Similane, encouraging Nedbank clients to get home loans.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
It's time. I'm also thinking about my future, my future 4 wives. All of them need to have a home. I'm a traditional man,
Yeah, and
so
I was just thinking, Kuti, we make these decisions very late in our career. Kanti, it's advisable Kuti, we take a loan in your early 20s.
And by the time people realize it's too late. It's too late. You also look at the duration of a home loan. It's something that you want to do
20
early.
years.
Yeah.
So if you want more information on Nedbank's home loans, do visit any of their branches or contact them on their social media pages. Ask questions if you want to get your home loan.
Also do appreciate the financial analysis every time with the Treasury Department, with from Nedbank, of course, Botoba and them, Nozibusiso Dembe. They always give us a really good expert analysis, and certainly appreciated today's financial analysis. Yeah.
Yes, there's a new member now, Sandiswa.
I was aware.
He's just joined the team. He's also a Treasury dealer.
Yet to meet him.
We're hoping he's coming back in September, so you'll meet him in September.
Good enough.
All right, thank you for tuning in. If you've just joined us, do watch us on our YouTube page, Eswatini TV. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
Make better money choices. Choose a bank that takes your money seriously. Business Watch was brought to you by Nedbank.